skill. First snap, I lay your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sent the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on them big blocks. On fourth down, we get big stops. My secondary is balling out. Your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Call the special teams, come punt the ball, and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Lear jet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, win, we just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, we must protect this house. I'm in a hole.
That's not on Carson though.
We gonna run it
Jerry
down
Cox.
as soon as we get the ball.
Jerry working. Carson's there. Carson's
We
doing
going on one. My skill position so proficient, run for long runs. Come out running that option. That mean I got the option to keep that or pitch that. Defense, they gotta fix that. Four receivers, we spread them out in the shotgun. Hot reads, I got some. My tight end so awesome. Touchdowns, I toss some. We score 6, scoreboard, that score 6. Respect the ball, we protect the ball. We don't fumble, no throw picks. I feed my linemen pancakes, so all they blocks are pancakes. Push you around like all night. End of the game, get your handshakes, huh? My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, win, we just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, we must protect this house.
Round one of the North Carolina playoffs here on the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. I'm Carson Dockery. Terry Reinhardt. Shannon Allen is not here, so we've got some guy filling in named Kevin. Kevin? He's doing a lot of the grunt work right now, I'll be honest, getting things set up. We got a full slate of the games, though, Terry, to pick. We've got 22 games on tap to pick tonight. We can go over the whole bracket. We've got a lot of stuff we can go over, Terry, but before we get into that, what are you looking forward to most in the playoffs?
Well, first of all, when we come into this thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm kind of biased a little bit, but as far as some of the seedings, I do not understand some of the seedings. I understand as far as, and we talked to Coach Pruitt last Saturday, and he kept telling us they took the first and second place teams and gave into a bye. Well, here's my deal. And a lot of people might agree with this. A lot of people might not. I understand if you win the conference, you're getting automatic bids and stuff like that. If you're seeded second or lower, I think they all should become, like last year, at-large teams.
Yeah.
And the reason being because I see teams who some teams beat during the year, and they got a higher seed just on account of they finished second. Well, you know, that second-place finish might come from you being in one of the easiest conferences they are. Yeah. And I'm not pushing anybody or saying anything bad, but when I look at, and I'm just going to throw them out there, Fred T. Ford, they got a number 2 seed in second place in the conference because they come back and finish behind High Brighton. But then when you do that, and then you get a 6th seed, and there's some teams that's in the playoffs that have a better record than you that played you, that pretty much beat you pretty bad, that you got a lower seed than them. And I understand. And you know, it all comes back to how the conferences is and how they determine who's first, who's second, who's third. Because, I mean, I'm going to mention another team as we're sitting here, Carson, is Pisgah got the number 1 seed over High Brighton.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they come up with? They come up and said their conference was tougher. Is one thing they said. And strength of schedule was tougher. And when I sit there and I look at that, and we who does High Brighton have tonight?
East Henderson.
There you go, East Henderson. So guess what, East Henderson? You're out of that same conference that they gave Pisgah that #1 seed over High Brighton. But you know what? East Henderson was in this conference. They finished dead last. Dead last, y'all. They were 0-5 in the conference, 5-6 overall, and they get a bid into the
playoffs.
Yeah, into the playoff. They were 0-5 in their conference, y'all. I mean, I'm sorry for having to have bad words to say at the start of this thing, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that should happen.
Reinhardt before.
Yeah. But I have a hard time with that.
Off complaining.
But really, out of that whole conference, the Mountain 6 2A conference, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, and this is bad on my end. If anybody's listening that's coming from East Henderson and you're going to High Brighton, I'm sorry. I hope you get beat 90-0. I'm sorry.
Well, Terry teased that exact score.
Do you have who
before.
should be in that spot that you think?
Well, I mean, when you go back and look at Red Springs, didn't even make it. They finished 6-5 for the year. So I mean, you know, how did you base how your criteria is? And I keep asking that because the Mountain 6 conference was Pisgah. Hey, I understand them being in it, but not a #1 seed.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountain, Brevard, Franklin, Hendersonville, and East Henderson. But when you go 0-5 in your conference and 5-6 overall, how is your rankings higher than some of them teams like Red Springs who won games in their conference? And you know, and I went down through there and I pulled out a few other teams that I could say, and you know, West Iredale 3-3, 5-6. How come they didn't get in? Wilkes Central finished 4-3, 4-7. They was in a split conference, so I understand that. Maybe you didn't give them a credit because of a split conference. Forbush 4-2, 5-6. Walkertown 3-3, 4-7. You know, none of these teams went 0-5 in their conference. Lexington, Oak Grove, Red Springs was 4-5, 6-5. They did finish 6. Maybe their conference was tougher.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, Vance County and Nash Central 2-3, 4-6. But, you know, that's the problem I have. They finished 6. Some of these teams finished 3rd, 4th, or 5th. How come they didn't get in before East Henderson?
Well, really, Terry, I mean, talking about East Henderson and Pisgah, they had identical records going into conference play. They were both 5-1, but Pisgah goes 5-0, and they're obviously the 1 seed. East Henderson goes 0-5. They're, 5-6. I mean, yeah, you can only say so much when you're in a 6-team conference and you have 5 out of conference games or only 5 in conference games. I mean, you know, that's just, I don't know. There's a lot to, like you're saying, there's a lot to talk about right there.
Yeah, and the biggest thing here is people ask about East Henderson. East Henderson started out 5-1.
Yeah.
5-1, and then they went 0-5 down their stretch. And you know, when you're going to the NCAA tournament, I'm sorry if you want a tailspin. The NCAA tournament in basketball
they
will
take that
get
into
rid
account.
of you.
Yeah, they'll take that into account
before they put you in.
All right. Well, before Terry has an aneurysm from complaining anymore, let's go into our picks. Terry, we're gonna start in the
some papers.
Gonna start in the 1AA with
pull that mic closer to you. It's working pretty good.
with East Wilkes, Polk County. This is the 6-11 matchup. Polk County traveling to East Wilkes. Terry, who you picking in that one?
Well, this right here, Polk County is always in the playoffs, a year in and year out. Having a little bit of a down year this year, they go into East Wilkes. You know, I'm going to take East Wilkes. I'm going to take them because they're playing at home, but I'm going to say it's going to be close, 24-21.
Kevin, who you got?
Which game? I'm sorry, I was.
There's this mathematical thing where I write the numbers.
Well, I see that, but they're scattered like a Sudoku puzzle over here.
You're exactly right, but we're going to start on number 1.
Yeah. Is that how we're going to get it? All right, 1 East Wilkes at Polk County. Terry, what did you have? What was your score?
I got Polk County at East Wilkes, and East Wilkes winning because they at home.
That's your reasoning for it? Not any other reason?
No.
I just wonder. Okay.
Polk County is in the playoffs pretty much every year, and most of the time they're pretty decent, but I don't think they can win on the road at East Wilkes.
And I know they hate hearing this, and it's the don't say it joke, but, you know, it's tough picking against the home of Al Bundy, but I got to go against Polk County, and I'm going to go East Wilkes too, on Terry's number 1 board. 6-11 matchup is possibility for upset depending on the schedule, so don't be surprised if Polk pulls it out, folks. So up there in Polk County, you might have you win. We'll see. Go up and play some good football, right, Terry?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right, we're going to jump over to the 2A now. Now we've got the 2-15 matchup. Charles D. Owen traveling to Reedsville. Terry, who you got in that one?
Yeah, you know what? It's a good drive over to Reedsville.
Yeah, it
When
is.
you come
I mean, we
pulling
gotta
in
write
there and
these
see
down.
all them little banners hanging around, I think right then is your. And I'm gonna tell you, Reidsville is a type of a program that you will go to, and the players will be talking to the coaches or whoever walks out there on the field. And I guarantee, as soon as they walk out there, they're going to be talking to Owen, saying, "Glad y'all come. We hope y'all have a safe trip back." But this shouldn't even be close. This should be over. Reidsville defense will be too much, and I got Reidsville 70 and Owen 6.
I wrote down before you said that, Terry, 68-6. So we're in the ballpark on that one. Reidsville, Terry, though, you talk about those conferences where teams 0-5 and 0-6 or whatever. Reidsville's one of those conferences where they're the only maybe quality team in those conferences. And we discussed this on the Saturdays a lot. I would like to see bigger conferences, and then you got more flexibility in your scheduling. You got 12-team conference. You don't have to play everybody, but you can play as many as you could. Maybe the other possibilities for it. But Reidsville does have a light schedule to get the 2 seed. That's not saying anything bad about Reidsville. They're good.
They're good. Don't
Right.
ever take that away. They're
That's-
42-1 over their last
they're one of those.
43.
Is there one of those? Usually, like Crest and Shelby, you say, "Well, let's wait to the third round, see how good they are." How Bright and everybody else. You know what I mean? So Reidsville, wait to the third round. They'll win tonight, right?
Yeah, pretty easy. This is also a team, I'm telling you, outscored their conference opponent 254-0.
Terry, that's a solid stat right there. 254-0.
That's not bad.
Well, here's you another schedule for them. Out of the last 3 years, they've outscored their opponents 834-18. So figure that out. That's like 1 point a game that they give up in conference over the last 3 years.
Yeah. Does that 2 seed gets an automatic bid too, right?
Yeah, that 2 seed was Burlington Cummins, and they beat 60-0. Yeah, there you go.
I just wanted to make sure that's
And guess what? They got a 6 seed because they finished second in their conference. Good job, y'all.
Terry, what'd you have the score in that first game? Do you remember what she said?
24-21.
24-21.
I mean, Q Tucker, you can call me at my number. I'll put it out there for you later. I need to be on your picking of this state tournaments.
Yeah, well, they could always use the WhatsApp Shopper Power Poll as a guide in our area, And some people in the 1A not even looking at that, Terry. They're going to look at. We're going to talk about Cherryville in just a little bit. You look at the standings, and you usually, when you look at the standings in the football standings, you say, well, guys, you got the first, second, third, fourth, fifth place team. The fifth place team has the worst record. They lost to the second and third place. I mean, the third and fourth place teams above them. The 2 seed, they beat them twice, but they get the automatic bid because they do got the better conference record because you lost a couple other close games. But Cherryville lost to Community School Davidson and the other team there ahead of them in their conference. Dang it, I just lost my train of thought. On not Thomas Jefferson. They're in the 1A. Where's my magic board? If we had Andre writes them somewhere around each other. Find my conference there. But anyway, Mountain Island Charter and it's Cherryville Best for Mountain Island Charter. Pull that out right there. Anyway, but Cherryville. Yeah, Community School Davidson, Mountain Island Charter. There you go. It's those two. I said them twice and didn't put them together. But anyway, those two are above Cherryville, and they both beat Cherryville. And then Cherryville's got the 3 seed, and they got the 4s and the 5s in that conference, Terry. So you want to go on that one?
Well,
That took me so long to say. I'm so
well,
sorry.
my whole deal is when
Gosh.
you are doing this and you don't even know, the Max Preps don't even know who the coach is.
Well,
Cherryville.
let's see. I'm going to pull
Well,
that up.
I'm looking at this one, and I don't know who James McCoy is, but I know Jamar McCoy coaches the Huskies.
Yeah, the Hunter Huss, it says James McCoy is the coach for them. Let me go back to, I'll tell you, if it still says it. We talked to Coach Pruitt every Saturday, and I kind of told him the other day about it, that it was still up. And we've mentioned, the last few years, Terry, and he's sending requests. Of course, this computer is ready to get thrown out the window. But anyway, as of last Saturday, it did say Keith Fox is still their coach, and he's been at Bessemer, I think, 3 years. And that they finally got it. Coach Pruitt sent in his change.
There it is.
There you go. Good job. Right
great
before
job.
the playoffs.
Right before this year's playoffs.
Good job, Pruitt.
They
Glad
got-
you arrived.
So they got that straightened out, Terry, so you can rest easy at night.
There we
Congratulations, Coach Pruitt, to finally being named head coach of Cherryville football.
It only took 2 years.
All right, Terry, let's move on to the next game. What we got?
All right, we're going to jump from the 2A to the 3A now, and it's the 4-13 matchup with East Rowan traveling over to Statesville to take on the Greyhounds. Terry, who you got in that one?
Well, Coach Gussler, he used to be a coach at West Lincoln for a year, and he went back, picked up his 100th win this year at Statesville along the way. But he's got East Rowan coming. East Rowan is pretty stout sometimes when they come in, but Statesville, I think, has got too many athletes, and they also are playing at Statesville. And if you've ever been to Statesville, that is an exciting place to go. I remember last time that we went, we were in the press box, and they had to run a convict down that run out onto the field around halftime of the game.
That sounds like Statesville.
It is. But, I mean, and the worst part about it, it was a lady principal that got the final block that knocked the kid down.
Yeah, that's Statesville. That's Statesville if I've ever heard
this
it.
all happened, y'all. And, some things you see that you don't believe in, but we did see it.
Happened, y'all.
But, and on the back side of their stadium, they have a development. And the cops will be riding up and down along this fence because people would come up without paying and watch it from the outside of these fence. So they have cops riding by, so everybody have to go around and pay to get in if you want to see the football game. But anyway, you're playing at Statesville. This is what you run into around here. But Statesville, I think, is going to win this one 31-24.
I thought it took me a while to explain the 1A stuff a minute ago. Let's get
Terry
back.
Terry had 4 Statesville stories just ready to go.
He's fired up about the some of the seating
I think so,
tonight. So what hurts of them I think, Terry, what it hurts you is you play in these what they tell you is a 2A conference, and they tell you it's a 3A conference. Then when you get to the playoffs, they split that everything in that conference pretty much in half. So if you got 6 in this conference, you're not even playing teams that you can play in the playoffs. So that's hard to measure. And then depending on who wins in the East, that will make you a big A or small or 2A or AA, right? Mm-hmm. So West Lincoln went from the 9 to the 13, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right, Carson. Yeah. Terry, what was your final score on the Statesville?
31-24.
Oh, you got a close one there for Statesville, huh?
You picked Statesville
pretty stout sometime.
I wrote down 54-13, but Terry has me scared now. I got a feeling we might have Kings Mountain going to Statesville next week, and that's who the matchup is if it goes. So if it, Terry's saying that Statesville might have a chance to fall here. If they do fall, that means that to East Rowan would come to Kings Mountain, and Kings Mountain would get another home game. So I got 54-13. We'll see how wrong. One of us is going to be wrong. I know one thing. I'm not going to miss by 108 points on that game.
Well, that I'd be impressed if you did.
Hey, Carson. Shannon, I hope you're doing well. See, I even call you all kinds of
Come on,
It doesn't even matter who I'm talking to.
It doesn't even matter that it's Hunter Robinson.
Carson Dockery.
There it is. Yeah. Terry knows who I am, if nothing else. All right. Going to drop down from the 3A to the 2AA with the 12-seed Salisbury taking on the 5-seed Ashe County. Terry, who you got in that one?
Well, Salisbury, won on the last week to really put themselves in for qualifying to get in. Big win for them. But they're going to Ashe County, and I'm going to tell you what. This is going to be one of my upsets. I got a 12 beating a 5 here.
There it is.
I think it's going to be, again, it's going to be close, but I'm going to have Salisbury winning this one 24-23 over Ashe County.
I don't think so. I'm not picking the stakes. We're going to go with Ashe County in this one. What'd you say, Terry? Your number was?
24-23.
24-23.
Salisbury over Ashe County.
Yeah. I'm going Ashe County. Ashe County 36-16.
All right, now jump back.
We got to take a break now, Carson.
Oh, we're going to take a break? All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
The man in the glass on the other side of the glass wall says.
Yeah, no, that's the one whose voice really matters. We'll be right back on the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show.
Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby would like to remind you that open enrollment for the health insurance marketplace runs now through December the 15th. If you or anyone you know needs help with health insurance coverage options or enrolling into a plan, please ask for an appointment with Justin Witherspoon at Witherspoon Insurance Agency. Just call 704-480-9595 or visit their office located at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby, or email Justin at justinwitherspoon@gmail.com. I'm Calvin Hastings, and I want to invite you to the big Thanksgiving Turkey Day sales event this Saturday, November 17th at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. With any purchase of a new Honda, Kia, Buick, GMC, or used vehicle, you'll get up free rounds of golf at the Deerbrook Golf Course, a free night's lodging at the Hampton Inn, free balls, t-shirts, and yes, we're going to give away a free turkey. So plan now to be there this Saturday, November 17th for the big Thanksgiving Turkey Day sales event at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, right below the Cleveland Mall.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Here's what's up in Gaston, Cleveland, and Lincoln counties. Brought to you by the What's Up Shopper, Carolina Country WCSL, and the Boss WOHS and WLON. First Baptist Church of Kings Mountain announces upward basketball registration has begun for grades 1 through 6 for boys and grades 1 through 8 for girls. For more information, call 704-739-3651. Hospice Cleveland County presents the Holiday Prize Extravaganza. Win a 14-karat diamond watch valued at over $4,000. Drawing on December 14th. Call 704-497-4677 for details. And that's What's Up. Brought to you by the What's Up Shopper. Carolina Country WCSL 1590 AM and 92.3 FM. The Boss 1390 AM and 101.5 FM. And WLON 1050 AM and 107.5 FM. For more information, go to whatsupshopper.com.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts. Christmas at your fingertips.
It's the shopping event of the season, the Southern Christmas Show, November 8th through 18th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Join us to celebrate a fashionable Christmas with Manhattan-inspired holiday window displays and shop hundreds of booths to find one-of-a-kind gifts for everyone on your list. Buy tickets online and save at southernChristmasShow.com.
Let's go to the Southern Christmas Show.
Look no further for your precious storage items than Uptown Mini Storage on South Lafayette Street, Shelby. This family-owned business has been continuing to serve Shelby and their greater Cleveland County area for over 20 years. Clean, safe, affordable, and secure climate-controlled and standard storage units. Call today, Uptown Mini Storage, South Lafayette Street, Shelby, 704-487-5528. That is 704-487-5528. Proud to support high school football here in Cleveland County. Denny's Restaurant in Shelby is proud to support Cleveland County high school football. Stop in before or after the big game. Denny's is known for some great home-cooked food. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And check out their Denny's Super Slam. 2 buttermilk pancakes, 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, and 2 sausage links. Hash browns, too, all for just $5.99. Stop in today. Denny's Restaurant, 2025 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby. America's Diner, and a proud supporter of Cleveland County high school football.
Matt Serbeck, General Sales Manager with McKinney Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Lowell, is a proud resident of Cleveland County. And Matt wants to take this time and invite his friends and neighbors to McKinney Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac for your next vehicle purchase. The selection is great, and Matt will make sure you get the price you need to fit your pocketbook. So do the neighborly thing. See Matt Serbeck at McKinney Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, 831 South Main Street in Lowell, online at McKinneyChevrolet.com. It's 554 WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville, Gastonia.
Welcome back to the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. Carson Dockery, Terry Reinhardt, and Kevin Hastings along with you this week for round 1 of the North Carolina football state playoffs. We are digging into some Max Grill. Terry got about 17 pounds worth of chili cheese fries.
I did, and it looks good.
Terry
got to be able to get into it.
Yeah, no,
This is one of those.
That's fork and knife fries.
That's what I was getting ready to say. If I start eating this, y'all going to have to wait on me.
No, Terry, we would give you some gloves.
Yeah.
And then just peel them off at the end of it.
Does that not look good, dude?
That does. You better shut it. That's what you ought to do. All right, I got my usual grilled chicken, and I don't know what they did to it this time, but it's somehow better than it always is. I don't know what they did. They put their foot in it. I don't care. It's good. I think Kevin was the healthy one here and got a turkey salad. So he's just making us all look bad, Terry.
Yeah, got him some honey mustard.
It makes me feel like, I don't take good enough care of my body. He's over here with a turkey salad.
Boy,
and Terry's over here with
chili
chili
cheese.
cheese
There you go, chili cheese fries. So I guess that's out on mine. All right.
All right, let's jump back into some football. And, Terry, we'll start over there on the far board, the 3A, and it's perennial powerhouse Charlotte Catholic hosting number 14 ranked or 14 seeded Moorhead. This is the 3-14 matchup. Terry, I think I know who you're going with, but why don't you tell the people?
Yeah, this is pretty simple. Moorhead, hey, congratulations to the playoff. And you're one of those probably that's looking around thinking, how'd they get this draw, you know. But you're going to Charlotte Catholic. It's a tough place to play. If anybody's ever been down there, nice facilities. Even the old place that they had was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the new place is really extravagant.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as this go, Moorhead, it's just going to be a trip, and Charlotte Catholic's good.
Yeah,
So
they're real
I'm going to go ahead. It's whatever Charlotte Catholic wants to score and when do they pull them off. I'm going to go this one just like the Reedsville game. I'm going to go Charlotte Catholic 64, Moorhead. I'm going to give them a score, 6.
All right, we'll jump up just a hair into the 3AA as it's the 8-9 matchup. This is usually your best matchup in the bracket as Asheville, the number 9 seed, will travel to Parkland, the number 8 seed. Terry, who you got in that one?
Well, anytime you have a team coming down from Asheville, whether it's Asheville Irwin, AC Reynolds, Asheville, the Cougars, or whoever, they pretty stout a lot, you know. And you're making a trip to Parkland. Parkland made a run a couple years ago in the playoffs, but I don't think this is going to be it. To me, right here is my 9 versus 8 beatdown because I think Asheville's going to win this one on the road. Asheville with a lot of athletes and defensive wise very strong.
Yeah.
But I got Asheville winning this one. I'm going to go 27-14 Asheville.
All right, from the 3AA back to the 3A for the 6-11 matchup. Monroe, the Red Hawks, the 11 seed, taking on Freedom, the 6 seed. Right up the road, up 321. And Terry, I know Freedom is a team that you're sort of off and on about, but who are you picking in this one?
Well, when I look at it, I went back. Freedom, this is their playoff bid number 26 for them, their 7th straight time that they've been there. Last playoff win was in 2005, a 55-18 win over Patton. The last playoff home win also was that same record. Their record in the playoff is 13-25. And when a lot of people think of Freedom, they think, well, they're a little bit better than that. Well, yeah, regular season-wise, they compete. They always have a great record. But what do you do when you get to the postseason? The biggest thing I got out of this is they're 13-25, but they're 10-12 at home.
Wow.
And that's kind of scary. I saw Freedom go up to Watauga. Watauga had no trouble with them. Freedom bounced back the next week to win, to finish second in that conference. But Monroe is a pretty tough task. They're going to have athletes, and they're going to be able to compete with it. The only one I've ever seen come around here that Monroe couldn't compete with is when they had to go to Shelby a couple years ago, or it might have been last year. I can't remember. But this one right here, I'm going to take Monroe, a number 11 seed, over Freedom. I think Freedom's going to be gone after this first round, and I'm going to say Monroe 31, Freedom 20.
Well, you talking about Monroe playing teams around here. You talk about Shelby. The team that I think of, really to me, over the last 5 or 6 years, the best team that's played Monroe consistently has been East Lincoln. That's always been a late in the rounds, really good matchup between the Red Hawks and the Mustangs. Yeah,
and those was one of the best hits I ever saw on a quarterback when Chaz Surratt was there. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he come around the end and he hit Chaz Surratt so hard it knocked him out of the game. And when you think about Monroe, they did play West Lincoln.
Have you not seen that play, Carson?
I don't think I
have.
have.
Man,
you can YouTube it.
Yes, you can.
Where's the plug?
I was doing the play-by-play of it. Andre was there as well, and Terry is right. It ranks up there one of the 3 maybe hardest hits I've ever seen on a high school football field. When not being on it myself, but out from the booth, he spun back to the left to get out. He did the old Romo spin.
Yeah.
And when he did, the guy was right where the spin was. I think that he went wide, and he got kicked out, and Chaz didn't know that he'd been kicked out like that. And he came around, and he was a very large man too. He wasn't a small fella. It just blew him up. Yeah, it was a big hit.
Yeah, and I remember West Lincoln played them 2 years ago in the playoffs, and I had some running backs from West Lincoln. Was mentioning the one guy's name, number 26. Can't remember who he is. But number 20, he does remember his number.
Yeah.
But he said after he hit me one time, he said next time I knew to get down when that dude was coming. So.
Dang, I'm moving along quite
quickly. You want to catch up, or you want to keep rolling?
Let's see. What'd y'all do? 5, 6, and 7.
We are on.
Terry,
7
who'd you pick, Freedom or Monroe?
I took Monroe.
I just want to write it down. Terry takes Monroe. Just want to make sure it's not. I mean, I don't. That wouldn't surprise me at all. The Catholic, I guess you picked them big time, Terry. Are they gonna name the score?
Pretty
tonight?
Easy. I took them. I think I had 64-6 or something.
What'd you do
like
on Parkland, Asheville? Little do I know about.
I took Asheville to win on the road at Parkland.
That's an 8-9 matchup, folks. For wondering out there, in the winter, if you noticed on there, Carson, you got your brackets beside you as well. We tried to match them up there on the board as close as we could, Terry, so you'd know that the winner of the Parkland Asheville matchup plays Watauga Ashbrook matchup. So if Ashbrook can win tonight,
magically,
they'd be going on the road the whole way. So go ahead, Terry. Next game.
All right, now we're gonna jump back into the 2AA, and Terry, this is the game that you said what you wanted it to be, but I want your honest opinion on the 11 seed Fred T. Ford traveling to the 6 seed West Stokes.
Well, here you go. You got a number 6. And don't get me wrong, Coach Miner, you have done a great job from the way you started the year. And I'm the first one to say that. You started 0-4, and you come back to finish 6-5. The only team you lost to down the stretch was the High Brighton, and everybody in that conference lost in the High Brighton. This is Fred T. Ford's 15th playoff bid. Their last playoff win come in 2017 in the 2AA first round. They beat Maiden at that time. Well, that was last year, 16-0, y'all.
Yeah,
that was a big win. Playoff record, though, for Fred T. Ford is 3-13. And only 3 wins that they had. They beat 7-0 over Franklin back in 1982, a 28-25 win over Southwest Guilford in 1982, and that 16-0 win over Maiden last year. So it shows that Miners putting them back out on the field, and they're winning a few games. But, the tough place to go play is on the road, and when your record on the road is 3-10 in the playoffs, you kind of sit back and say, maybe if you was playing at home, I would pick you. And for me, I'm going to go West Stokes. I know a few years back I saw them make a run in the 2AA playoffs, and they almost made all the way to the finals. But this right here, I'm going to take West Stokes to knock off Fred T. Ford, and I think this is going to be real close. I'm going to take West Stokes 26, Fred T. Ford 24, losing in the fourth quarter.
Me and Terry's on the same path with the team. However, we both actually picked. That's funny. I like writing these scores down before Terry says it. We both picked Ford to score exactly 24 points.
Nice.
I just got
slight discrepancy.
I just got Stokes scoring 44, and Terry's got it in a close game. So I got Stokes pulling away late. A lot of times these playoff games, you get late in the fourth quarter. Coach might, you get up 2 touchdowns. Coach might stick a few people in, seniors and stuff like that, and get a few playoff minutes in, and things can happen. You never know, but I just got Stokes pulling away on that one. All right.
All right, stay in the 2AA now as we've got the 2-15 matchup with East Henderson. Terry's 0-5 in the Mountain 6 2A East Henderson team, traveling to arguably one of the best teams in the state, but ranked in the second spot in the 2AA bracket. High Brighton. Terry, who you got in this one?
Well, here's what we talked about before. This is really a revenge starting off this playoffs. High Brighton comes in, the number 2 team. Who are you behind? A team out of this same conference who they said is a better strength of schedule. So you're going to get to play one of them, and I don't even think this is going to be close. High Brighton has played this East Henderson 3 times in the playoffs. They played them in 2005, and East Henderson won 24-21 in overtime. 2008, East Henderson won 14-13. But they also played in 2010 where High Brighton won 28-25. So if you look at them scores, you think, hey, man, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
But this is your defending 2AA state champions. They have won 27 consecutive games, which is number 2 in the state of North Carolina, in behind Wake Forest, who has won 41. 27 games straight without giving up 20 points in a game, and that's one of the top records in the state of North Carolina. This is High Brighton's 21st playoff appearance, 17th straight. Playoff record is 30-18, but here's the big kicker. When they play at home, they are 24-7. But they come in with McKinney Witherspoon, their top rusher from last year. He's doing it again this year, and this is what surprised me. He's got 1,411 yards. People say, well, okay, but he's got 31 touchdowns. So when they get close, let's give it to him. But the other guy in behind, McQuane Jones, is the other run back. He's got 2,025 yards, 17 touchdowns himself. So I got to say, this is going to be all they want to do. High Brighton, whatever you want to score, I think this is punishment night for East Henderson. High Brighton 66, East Henderson 14.
I didn't even write that one down. It was going to be bad. I got to take a phone call. Same thing. I'm just going to pick High Brighton on that one.
All right, we'll jump over to our first game in the area, as in the 1AA, we'll have the 8-9 matchup. with Mountain Island Charter making the long trip out to Bryson City to take on Swain County. Terry, who you got in this one?
Yeah, both of these teams finished third in their conference. Mountain Island Charter finished behind Thomas Jefferson and Bessemer City, where Swain County finished behind Murphy and Robbinsville. These two teams have combined for, well, these two running backs from Swain County have combined for 25 of the 37 touchdowns that they've done all year.
Wow.
If I'm Mountain Island Charter, I'm thinking, okay,
Load the box.
My linebackers are keying on these guys.
Yeah.
These are the guys that's going to hurt you, and you're on the road. They are playing at Swain County. Yep, they sure are. And what do they bring? Well, they bring this guy that people don't know of, Elijah Burris, 27 yardage, 2,727, number one in North Carolina. And we talk about
top
Witherspoon.
5 in the nation, isn't it?
Yes, and we talk about Witherspoon with 31. He's got 34 touchdowns. He averages 247 yards a game, and that's 15.1 yards per play.
And this is a guy who's a junior.
Yes.
He's got another year.
He's got another year. What do I expect here? I'm going to take another 9 versus 8 upset. Is I'm going to take, and I know Swain County's always in the playoffs, but this is the team that I thought out of the 1A conference, out of the Southern Piedmont 1A conference over here, that I think could go a long way. And I'm going to take Mountain Island Charter to win tonight. I'm going to take 32-24. I think it'll be close for a while, but Mountain Island Charter will win at the end.
32-24 is what you got, Terry. Swain County is a tough place to go.
It
Is that the Maroon Devils? Is that
Yes,
Swain?
I believe
Okay.
so, yeah.
The Maroon Devils against the Raptors. I think Mountain Island's pretty decent. They've had some lapses this year.
Yeah, they have.
Maybe due to some injury. I don't know what the deal is with that. They probably don't think they should have lost the Bessemer game. But there was some circumstances on that night that probably led to Bessemer playing some really good defense. Terry, what was your score there?
32-24.
Yeah.
32-24.
And I'm going to tell you the big thing about this, so think about it. But
I'm in the same
I'll help you,
ballpark, I think.
because this team does not pass much. Swain County has only passed for 310 yards and 5 touchdowns. So if you think about that, they don't pass much. So if you're going to bundle it all up in the middle and worry about 2 guys, I don't think them guys are going to beat Mountain Island.
Well, here's the key. Looking at Mountain Island Charter, Terry, in the conference here in Southern Piedmont 1A, 2A, Thomas Jefferson led the league in scoring, but defensively, Mountain Island almost by twice as many better as everybody else on defense. The game they did lost to Bessemer, only got up 16 points. So I'm looking at Mountain Island Charter. I'm thinking they're going to even do better than that, Terry. I've got them. Let's go 35-16 on that. So just slightly better. But, yeah, I feel good about the Raptors this week.
All right, jump from the 1AA to the 2AA as we've got a 116 matchup featuring East Lincoln making the long trip from Denver out to Pisgah to take on those the one-seeded Pisgah, Terry, the team that you were talking about earlier, 10-1, getting that 1 seed over High Brighton. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, and here we go again. When they told me why Pisgah had the number 1, they said they claimed the strength of schedule, and they also won their conference was enough to jump over High Brighton for the number 1 seed. Okay, strength of schedule. Okay, I understand you put every team that's in it, and I'm okay with that. But you're also jumping a team who brought about 20 of the 22 players or 19 of the 22 players back that played for this team last year.
Yeah.
Defending 2AA state champions.
Well, High Brighton hasn't lost in
That's what I'm
going
saying.
on 2 years
and
at this
you're
point.
going to put them way up. Or that's where I think somewhere along the line things have to change. Which, anyway. This
Not
is
tonight is what it's going to be.
Yeah. This is the second meeting between these two teams. East Lincoln leads the series 1-0. They did play in 1991. East Lincoln won 17-14 in a playoff game. This is playoff bid number 23 for them, 14th straight year for East Lincoln. Last playoff win for East Lincoln was a 34-14 win back in 2016. Their playoff record for East Lincoln is 31-20 all time. I think the problem here, though, is when I look at East Lincoln and I think of Sidney Dollar, and those are where my conflict, I wonder what's happening, because Chase Jones is a good quarterback, but Sidney Dollar only had 27 catches all year. And when I look at that, I'm like, this guy should have touched the ball. I know he might have missed a game or two, but he should have touched the ball a lot more than that, or plays were not set up for him. And I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna say Pisgah's gonna win this one. Another close game. I'm going to put Pisgah winning this one 31-28 over East.
16 seed giving them a scare. Here
Well, Carson, me and Terry do a little research every now and then. I've got 40-32 Pisgah in another one-score game. Talked to a few coach or two today. East Lincoln may have something for Pisgah. It's one of those games. If the turnovers go, anytime you have a 4-0 turnover game, the upset could happen, and this could be one of those to be. We've had a few the last few years.
Yes, we have.
Didn't Huss upset a 1 or 2 a few years back from a real low seed? Might have been about 4 or 5 years ago, even. But I think they were even one of the teams that threw in one of these big upsets the last few years. So I've got Pisgah win. It's tough against the 1 seed, but I've got them too. Real quick, Terry mentioned some of the stats, and I do want to mention some of the stats that we do have as we go through some of these teams. Real quick, Mountain Island Charter, they've got 181 carries, 2,700 yards, and 34 touchdowns for Elijah Burris, the North Carolina. I guess he committed there, so we can call it that. Real quick, some stats for East Lincoln. Terry was mentioned Chase Jones and Sidney Dollar. Chase Jones, 19 of 172 this year, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, so taking care of the ball. Sidney Dollar, Terry, you're talking 29 catches, 503. Let's talk real quick before we go any further. I want to talk about the receiving real quick. I know we're going to mention them later, of course, but Kobe Pacehour, Carson, look at his numbers compared to everyone else. It's pretty much doubled.
It's not even
close. So
Sydney
is in the same ballpark with everybody else on the list, and then whatever their numbers are, double them, and that's Kobe Pacehour. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. He's pretty much tripled almost everybody in touchdowns. So 23 touchdowns in 11 games at wide receiver, Terry. Yeah. That's Randy Moss. I mean, and Hunter will say it on the broadcast tonight that somebody's going to get Moss tonight, and he will. He's a good receiver. But yeah, I think Terry's making a good point there. Sydney's a big, tall athlete, and I think him and I think maybe the Xanders kid over at Shelby. I mean, not Shelby, but Crest. That they're big targets that maybe you could force them the ball a little bit more maybe, and maybe some of the fans do want to see that. Real quick, let's see if I got an East rushing. I do not have them in the top 15. It looks like the stats in rushing for East. So there's your pass stats for East. I've got that score. All right, what, time for a break? Is that what
time for a break? Terry gave me the single this time, so
that's the man in there.
That's how you know it was serious.
I thought he meant he had to go potty.
If Terry gives me the signal, I know I got to listen more than anybody. We'll be back with Watauga Ashbrook, as well as Mount Pleasant, South Point, and a lot of other games. We'll be right back on the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show.
Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby would like to remind you that open enrollment for the health insurance marketplace runs now through December the 15th. If you or anyone you know needs help with health insurance coverage options or enrolling into a plan, please ask for an appointment with Justin Witherspoon at Witherspoon Insurance Agency. Just call 704-480-9595 or visit their office located at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby, or email Justin at justinwitherspoon@gmail.com.
I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me this week for Country Gold, where we play all your favorites from the 80s and 90s.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, online at KTCBroadcasting.com. It's Happy Turkey Days, November 12th through November 22nd at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Dwight has gone turkey crazy. Buy a new Honda, get a free turkey. Buy a new Kia, get a free turkey. Buy a new GMC, get a free turkey. Buy a new Buick, get a free turkey. Buy a pre-owned vehicle and get a free turkey. All during Happy Turkey Days, November 12th through 22nd at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 Stixon Boulevard in Shelby. And Happy Thanksgiving from Renato Auto Mall in Shelby.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
For over 100 years, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home in Falston has been providing services to families of our community with care and compassion. And now the Stamey Funeral Home has added the Cremation Center along with a new name, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center. the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center on Highway 182 in Falston, and the Stamey Funeral Home in Cherryville, located on Dixie Street in Cherryville, serving you with care and compassion in your time of need. Bill Shuford Heating and Air and American Standard presents the American Standard Set the Standard event. Now through November 30th, get up to $1,000 in discounts on qualifying American Standard equipment, or get 0% APR financing with 60 equal monthly payments, plus many more special Set the Standard event offers. See Bill Shuford Heating and Air for all the details. Bill Shuford Heating and Air, 213 Campbell Street in Shelby. Call 704-484-0025.
Live and uniquely local.
It's a community station.
The Boss, 101.5 FM, 1390 AM, WOHS, Shelby.
Well, thankfully, the weather stays very quiet over the next several days. It should be pretty nice over the weekend, although it will be chilly tonight. We'll have mostly clear skies. Low temperatures get down into the low to mid-30s. Plenty of sunshine Saturday with high temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. And then Sunday looks good, mostly sunny with highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the Weather Center.
Currently from the KTC Broadcasting Studios, it's
6:17, and the temperature is 51 degrees.
Make your business or office the boss of Carolina Country Listener Post. All you have to do is tune your radio in your business or office to 101.5 FM, 107.5 FM, or 92.3 FM. Let us know and we'll put your name on the radio. And each month we'll have a drawing from our area listener post for a dozen breakfast biscuits from the Creekside Clock Restaurant in Shelby, along with coffee or tea. Area listener posts include Shelby Hardware, Hendrick Appliance, Sism & Sons Paint and Body Shop, Cleveland Lumber Company, TSB Auto Trim, Witherspoon Insurance Agency, Blanton Cars East, Numbers Etc., McKinney Woodcrafts in Kings Mountain, Promotion Motors, Cherryville Signs and Graphics, Reed Lindsay State Farm Insurance, Lowe's of Lincolnton, the Buffalo Creek Gallery, Arnold's Jewelry, Whaley Carpet and Tile, R&D Mattress Center, Sandy's Country Christmas, Cantrell and Melton Barbershop, and Steve's Taxidermy. So make your business or office a Boss of Carolina Country Listener Post today.
S&M Sports Shop is your dealer for Under Armour sports apparel in Cleveland County. Come by and see the selection of Under Armour shirts, shorts, shoes, socks, and sunglasses. S&M is also your team outfitter for all local schools in whatever sport you play. They have letter jackets for all local high schools. Plus, S&M is your headquarters for Oakley Sunglasses. For all your athletic needs, go to S&M Sports Shop. They're located at 707 South Lafayette Street in Shelby.
You hear them pads going clack, 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 clack. You hear them clicks going tap, tap, tap.
All right, welcome back into the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. Carson Dockery, Kevin Hastings, and Terry Reinhardt. Terry, what are you over there just barking at, man?
I'm just talking to myself.
Well, that's normal.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that sometimes.
Well, I mean, at least at least people.
Sometimes I get things accomplished.
Well, you know, when you talk to yourself, that's the only person that's going to listen, I guess.
Hey, me, myself, and I.
All right, Terry, let's start over in the 3AA. The 116 matchup, Ashbrook will take the trip from New Hope Road, then up 321 all the way to Boone to take on Watauga. Who you got in that one?
Well, Ashbrook to me had a kind of a down year, and that's just how I'm going to put it. They always have great athletes down there, but sometimes they just don't work together. I mean, you know, that's all it takes is a couple guys in the whole thing. But you're going to play Watauga. Watauga, very good. I mean, playoff record for Ashbrook all time, 25-33-2. Been to the playoffs quite often for Watauga. It's their playoff bid number 16, their 8th straight year they've been there. Last playoff home win came in 2017. Last year they did defeat Asheville 21-9. But you know, Watauga, as strong as they are this year, they come into this. Our playoff record is 14-15. But since coach, and some people said I say his name right, Hobbish. But anyway,
well,
he did pick up 100 wins this year.
I dropped the ball this.
Yeah, got
this
over
week.
50 wins for Watauga. He's done a great job since he got there, and that's a tough place to go play. You go play on that artificial turf, and you know, Watauga's very strong at home.
It wasn't artificial when I was there at Appalachian. We used to we've played some I've played some flag games and snow games out there. Some of the schools when it used to go out there, if the the main field at Apple was full. There would end up some games when we talk high school sometimes. And talk about the coach real quick. I do want to mention. Me and Terry mentioned a minute ago, we got some inside sources now. So I talked to Watauga High School's coach's mother in Florida.
There you go.
Now,
out of Florida.
Who will go to those ends? Well, I mean, KTC.
That's a connect.
Is
right
that not
there.
connection?
That's what I'm saying.
She called the station the other day. But she's going to be listening to the Husk game tonight to get the Ashbrook scores. The Watauga station up there don't have a streaming service. They do the radio station that carries their games in Ashbrook don't have a radio station going up there for them. So, folks, they're going to try to give you some scores during the Husk game, so give you some updates during that for you Ashbrook fans. So listen to the Husk game during that. You can also follow on KTC during the night. We'll be tweeting out scores that we get along. Terry will, myself, and Andre down the hall. But I do want to say hello to her watching, listening in Florida. And I had a piece of paper down there, and I think I lost it. So I even wrote down how to pronounce it. Is it Hobbits or Habits? I even wrote down her name, his name. I wrote down all kinds of stuff, and I can't find it. So I just dropped the ball big time. But I do want to say hello to her, and thanks for listening and watching. We never know where we got listeners from, Terry. Last week we had people in Vegas listening.
Yes.
Or the week before, we had people in Vegas listening to, I think it was the Crest game. And so, folks, thanks for listening online and watching the games online as always. Carry on. Sorry.
All right. Now we got to get to a score that we're going to predict.
Oh, we never got to that?
Well, I think going up there again is a tough place. Closest game that Watauga's had this year has been 19 points to Freedom when they come up.
And that's the second best team in that conference, 9-2, 6-1.
It is. And what do I think is going to happen here? I think Watauga's going to be okay. Ashbrook, again, can match up a few guys, but Freedom had the same opportunity. They brought the same guys up there. A lot stouter team to me, and I don't know how that might have been if Ashbrook would have played Freedom, what kind of score that would have been. But I also seen Ashbrook kind of falter a lot of times this year. When I thought they would play good, then they'd get beat by 30. But I'm going to take Watauga to win this one, 42-14.
Wow, I don't think I think it's gonna be more than that actually. And it's not. I don't want to take away from Ashbrook at all. I don't think they're that this as bad as what I'm about to say. I was gonna say 56-14 on what Terry was going with. I just think Watauga's really good this year, undefeated.
Yeah.
500 points and gave up 111. That's pretty good. If you do the math, I'm not going to do it for you if you want to know that. But 500 and 111 divided by 11, there you go. If you got your calculators out, I'm going 56-14. Watauga wins big out of that one seed.
All right, jump into the 1AA, and the first game that we're going to talk about that's going to be on the KTC family of networks is the Community School of Davidson taking on Cherryville in a Southern Piedmont 1A rematch here in the first round. So Davidson coming down 77. Well, there's a lot of different ways you can come from Davidson to Cherryville, but Community School of Davidson, the 10 seed, Cherryville, the 7 seed. Terry, who you got in this one? This is the first home playoff game that Cherryville's had in a long time, isn't it?
It is, and when you go look at this series tied 3-3. But I'm going to tell you another situation that I run into as we're getting matchups again. September the 28th, 2018. We should have just put that in there and said we're having all rematches. Because we got a lot of games that were played on that day that are having rematches.
That was the
today.
day, huh? September 28th, folks. Look at your calendar, look back on.
I mean, I don't understand how that's come around. Yeah, but that's
28th.
how a lot of this one. This game was also played September the 28th, 2018. Blanton had 249 yards in that game against them, but they come up short, 42-36. What do I think here? This is the 91st years of football at West Lincoln. 10 years they've had 7.
At West Lincoln?
Well, I mean for Cherryville.
There it is.
Yeah.
What
that's
school are we on right now?
That's about a 7-mile difference.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I've lost
10 previous seasons with 7 or more wins for Cherryville. They come in here 7-4, best record since 1977. That's 41 years ago. What do I expect here? I'm going to tell you what. I think Coach Pruitt, his defense is going to show up a little bit. When they played them last time, Cherryville turned the ball over, had too many turnovers in the game, and Community School of Davidson ends up coming out on top. I'm going to take Cherryville tonight at home. Coach Pruitt, pull it off for us, buddy. I'm going to take Cherryville to move on to the second round. Cherryville 35, Community School of Davidson 24.
Terry, I got 40-20 Cherryville Ironman this week. I think they're going to learn from their mistakes. They made a bunch of mistakes in that game.
Yeah,
They got
did.
down early. Was you at that game?
I was.
Was
yeah.
you? Okay,
Yeah.
so Carson maybe tell you a little bit more about it. That particular matchup that I was going to. Well, what I was going to say about that, I think that was about the middle of the part of the season where Blanton really started getting in stride.
Yeah.
194 carries this year, 1,247 yards, folks. For you Cherryville fans, this is a historic season all around. We got a historic running back season as well. The all-time leading rusher is 1,398, Gary Johnson. In I think it was 98 the year he said it. He had 1,398 yards. He actually missed. I don't know if he missed a whole game or two, Terry, that year. I think Andre said he did. But he had some cramping problems that year. He'd come off the field a lot that year and still come up 1,398. He also had 23 touchdowns, I think is the record. Jaden is 2 touchdowns behind that at 21.
Yes, he is.
He's got 100. He needs 152 yards tonight to break the
that's
the
not
single
out of the
season
question
record
for him. Yeah.
Now, as far as career-wise, let's say he does that. The career is I think 2,500, 2,503, somewhere around in there, around the 2,500 mark for career. Tommy Summer had that back in the 70s. And so, he's got a chance for that next year. This year, I'm sure that he want to win the game tonight, but that would be awesome, win this 8th game, Terry. First time, what was it, 54, 50, something like that, since they won the 8th game.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
And then,
Yes,
of
it
course,
has.
if you have your running back out there set some records, it would be just outstanding as well. I also want to mention, they got a little bit healthier in running game as well. So I think they'll be good tonight. Let me look at some of their Cherryville quarterback. 78 of 165 this year, slightly under 50%. 1,295 yards, 14 touchdowns, 10 picks for Dylan Harden. Receiving in Cherryville, Cruff Florine, 30 catches, 630 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's one of those kids that if he gets the ball,
Just get him in open space.
And he's fast.
He's fast. He's easy fast.
In 1A, a lot of times, sometimes the fastest kid on the field can win you a ball game.
Oh yeah.
Best won a couple last year, and with theirs, and so I think Cherryville's going to win tonight. 40-20. Cherry, what was your score again? You said
35-24.
I thought it was a little bit closer. All right, go ahead.
All right, now we're going to jump into the 2AA as South Point playing an away game in the first round for the first time, and I don't know when. They'll be the 10 seed making the short trip up to Mount Pleasant, the 7 seed. Terry, Mount Pleasant is a team that I feel like a lot of the teams in this area are familiar with. South Point, though, I think this is two sort of similar teams. Mount Pleasant will probably throw it a little bit more than South Point, but they're very similar power run teams, and they also play really good defense. Who you got in this one?
Well, when I go back and I think of Mount Pleasant, I think of a team a few years ago, and I can't remember the coach, but very disciplined.
Yeah.
They make very few mistakes when you play against them. I mean, if you're going to beat them, it's going to be on the field, and they're not going to give you anything. You got to earn everything you get.
Mm-hmm.
But you're playing a South Point team with their red bone that's going to be tough. South Point comes into this game 52-25-1 all time in playoff games. They've won their last 6 straight opening round games. Do I think this is going to be it's going to be a little bit tough, but I still think South Point's going to have enough. I mean, when they start looking on down here and they thinking about, I just hope they don't overlook this game and think about Highbright.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, sometimes you can look past this game. Don't forget this game. Play your game because you got to win tonight to get to next week. But
how do you tell a team on the road to not look past this game?
Well, that's true. I mean, I'm with you. But
how do both these teams, Terry, before we pick these numbers, how do you think both these teams feel about these seeds?
Well,
I mean, yeah, you're South
I've
Point.
got my own thoughts on all these seeds.
You're the 2 seed in South Point,
8-3
in the
4-1.
conference.
Yeah.
And you got the 10 seed. You got Mount Pleasant. Is Mount Pleasant happy being the 7 seed, but not too happy hosting South Point?
Yeah.
I would imagine. And South Point, do they think they should have a higher seed? You think?
I don't know about maybe a higher seed.
Yeah.
I think they're okay with the seed that they got. I just think that they don't like going on the road.
Well,
they thought finishing second, they probably would have got a home game.
In comparison, Bessemer City finished second in their conference. They got a 5 seed. South Point's got a 10 seed to finish the second in their conference. Looking at, let's see, Kings Mountain got a 4 seed. So, maybe South Point might have a slight argument that maybe these, not that Mount Pleasant don't deserve to be a 7, but maybe South Point deserves to be a little bit further up in there.
Yeah, my whole deal in behind them seedings is when I think of Burlington comes who finished second behind Reidsville, has got a home game tonight, and they got beat by 60. against that team, and you're 4-7. So you
Yeah.
tell me how come South Point's having to go on the road?
You don't
There
be
we go.
surprised if we have upsets. Use what we're saying here in this
That's what
first
it
round
sounds
like.
because,
That's
because
it.
of the
You gotta be careful.
seedings. You don't know. All right, go. All right, sorry, go ahead.
But anyway, I'm going to take South Point to win this one. And South Point can I'm just going to say it like this. South Point 38, Mount Pleasant 21.
Carson, I wrote down 36-20.
That's pretty close.
I
You
swear.
guys are just about on the same wavelength.
So I'm in the ballpark of Terry, obvious on that. Let's look at some South Point numbers. Naseem Jones this year, 222 carries, 1,323 yards, and 20 touchdowns for the Red Raiders. Nothing else on that list. We got anything South Point on the passing on the passing
you got
list?
Ray Greer down there.
Ray Greer ended up 19 catches, 482, 6 touchdowns.
That's pretty good for a South Point receiver.
Right. So I mean, he's on right at 500 yards. Is that junior or senior? Senior. Da on the phone tonight. He's at the big game. Former KTC announcer. He stops in and helps us out now every now and then. So does his son, Junior David Allen, principal at Shelby High School, is on the phone with West Lincoln coming into town. David, you there?
What's going on, boys?
What's
hey,
up?
Listen, not much. I was listening to you and just wanted to throw a little information in there. The reason South Point's a 10 is because there's 7 conference champions in the Big 2A.
Oh, okay.
So the top 7 seeds in the Big 2A are all conference champions. So South Point is technically the third-rated number 2 seed, in the Big 2A. So for them to get a 10 with 7 conference champions ahead of them is actually pretty good. And
I see what
Mount
you're saying.
Pleasant is one of those conference champions. And when we ran up with them back in the early part of the season, they had come off a really tough streak where they were really struggling. And then of course they went on to win the conference and went undefeated, I think, in the conference after they beat or after we beat them. But anyway, I think South Point, even though they're on the road and they're a 10 seed, they're favored to win. They're going to win that game.
Okay, well, David, real quick before Terry's question, I've got the way South Point situation is too. When we split these A's into the A's and double A's, same thing happened to the 1A too. All the what we quote better teams ended up in the 1 AA as well. With the higher seeds and the conference champions, that really affects the seeding as well in that too, don't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the part you can't figure on. I mean, you can figure, hey, we're a conference champion, or hey, we've lost 2 games, or hey, we've done this, that, and the other, and where we are in the Max Prep rankings and all that kind of stuff. But until they separate the big and the little, you really don't know how it's going to all fall out. And so that's really one of those things that, you have an idea. But like West Lincoln is 9-2 coming to Shelby tonight. They've had their best football season maybe ever. And they get to go to Shelby in the first round. And, they're 2 kids away from the cutoff. So the way the ADMs broke down, they could have been – just if one other school that's a little bit bigger had made it, they're going to small 2A instead of big 2A, and then all of a sudden they're a 4 seed instead of a 13 seed. So, it's crazy.
Well, you're right, because what DA last Thursday, the projections before those East Coast teams played their final games, West was actually in the lower bracket as a 9 seed. So they by moving up into the 2A, the AA, not only they got to go against bigger schools, they dropped back 4 spots in the seeding from it.
Yeah. And that stinks for them. Obviously, I feel like we're favored tonight, and if we play well, we'll be okay. But I hate that for them because they have had a great season, and their only 2 losses have come to folks in their conference, and so they're basically coming in as an at-large or a number 3 out of that conference, whichever way you want to look at it. And then when you throw in those adjusted Max Prep rankings, which I still haven't figured out, High Brighton's the number 1 team in the West 2A. There's no question in my mind, and somehow another Pisgah's the number 1 seed. So, no disrespect to Pisgah, because I think we're probably going to end up playing them in a couple of weeks, but I don't understand how they're doing the modified Max Prep rankings, because when you look at the final 2A standings in Max Prep's, High Brighton's number 1, like Northeastern and Southwest Onslow are 2 and 3, and Shelby's number 4. But yet, Pisgah's higher seeded than Shelby and High Brighton in the big 2A. So it's interesting, and it always is. But you know, the big 2A's loaded with the 7 conference champions, and I think there were just 2 conference champions in the small 2A. So definitely will be a lot of fun though. Start here in just a little bit.
Well, David, my question for you, and as I look at these things, and I liked how they did it last year. You took all your number ones, and then everybody that was second and down really become at-large teams. And I have a hard time with the teams that are second. And I would speak of a Burlington Cummins, and I'm going to speak of a Fred T. Ford, that West Lincoln did play Fred T. Ford, beat them by 30-some points. You know, I think somewhere along the line, even though you did finish second, they've got to look at who you played, and that shouldn't be a criteria for you to jump over somebody else just on the count of you finished second, when a team that might have finished third in another conference maybe is a better team.
Right. And I'll go back to volleyball. We finished third in our conference, had a tiebreaker with South Point in volleyball to finish third, behind RS Central and East Gaston. And we had to travel to Brevard in the first round, which was no problem. Brevard was really good. But we were a 31 seed. The 30 seed was Pisgah out of the same conference with Brevard, and they were 0-10 in their conference.
There you go.
Yeah, so go figure it out. I don't know. I know they're trying to do stuff so that it's not the Southwestern number 3 plays the Foothills number 1 every year, and you're playing the same folks in the playoffs every year. But anyway, hopefully they'll figure it out one of these days.
Well, I guess we're all done. We'll get all our complaints in this week, right?
There you go. Hey, boys, have a good night.
You have a good night, too. Y'all
Thank
have a
you,
great
Dave.
night over at Shelby High School. Good game,
All right,
and everybody stay safe. West Lincoln and Shelby tonight.
Appreciate it. See you.
All right, that's David Allen, principal over at Shelby High School. Do want to mention some news and notes, Terry's, as we're going down through this list. I've got Terry's magical notes here printed off here. 7 wins or more the last 46 years. We've already mentioned some of these teams. I want to mention some of the ones we already have maybe. Looking there, let's go down. Ashbrook, 21 years of 7 or more wins. These are, I think I got everything updated. Burns, 21 years as well. East Lincoln, 19. East Weber for 20. Let's see, anybody else we've talked about down the list here. Mountain Island Charter, they've had 3 wins of 7 or more. They started in 2014. Ain't that what that number means when they started?
What
The school
is,
started.
Yes.
Kramer, we ain't talked about them yet. We'll talk about these others in just a minute. But go ahead, Terry.
Yeah.
Where were we on the
Going
picks?
to the next game?
Yeah,
we're rolling to the next game, number 15. It's another rematch from that
Real quick,
magical
Carson,
day.
interruption.
September
Sorry.
the 28th.
That Shelby Mount Pleasant game he was talking about, for you folks want to do some reference, Shelby did win 35-14. All right, go.
All right, yeah. September the 28th, another rematch from that day. Highland Tech making the short trip over to Bessemer City. This is a game that I'll be at, first off.
Was you at the first one?
I was not at the first
Okay.
one. But this one should probably be over by 9:30, to be quite honest. Both of these teams very run heavy. We're probably going to get a combined maybe 10 pass attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, who you got in this one?
Well, Highland Tech comes in here 0-2 all-time in the playoffs. Bessemer City 14-22 all-time in the playoffs. But the biggest thing about this series, Bessemer City leads this all-time series 18 games to none.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, what I expect tonight, about the same thing. I'm going to tell you what, Highland Tech has got better. Coach DeLeo's done a good job down there. He's got the kids believing.
Got a lot of seniors on that team, too.
But I think next year you might see a little bit more people down there to help them out. You never know who's coming, but I think the program is turning a corner for them to get better. What do I think here? There's only been one game between these two decided by double digits or less, and that was in 2008, 16-12. So what I think here, I think it's going to be about the same way, but I think Bessemer City is going to win by a little bit more. Last time, September 28, 2018, it was 24-12 Bessemer City. I'm going to go this time 32-14 Bessemer City.
This year's Bessemer's defense has been pretty decent. The 1 seed, and they've only given up 30 more points than the 1 seed. That's 11-0. It's not been good as Mountain Island Charters. The defense has been the offense has not been there at all. Yeah. So I do expect Terry. I expect him to win. Terry's in the ballpark of where I was going to go. I was going to go. You never know with these 2-point conversions. So I was going to go 34-12. Is where I was going to go. So we're off just 2 points on those. real quick on some of the stats for these guys, Highland Tech, and this will be Bessemer's if they win tonight, their 8th season of 7 or more wins in school history. So there's that. So that would be a milestone for Coach Boone in the game. Looking at some of the stats for this game, Jarcavius Love, 148 carries, 961 yards, and 9 touchdowns for Bessemer. Jaqueline Harden, 166 carries, 931 yards, 13 touchdowns. Highland Tech's Caleb Foster has 64 carries, 808 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And Jeremiah Wallace, 147 carries, 782 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So we got a couple of folks in this game, Carson, that I don't know if you want to take a picture of that. You got a couple people that get close to 1,000 yards tonight if they have a good game tonight.
I might have to.
All right, those are our picks for that. I got Bessemer City, Yellow Jackets. If you can see my jersey online. Watch on YouTube, by the way, folks. Every Friday night you can watch this and the post-game show as well.
All right, going over now back into the 2AA. Got the 14 taking on the 3 with Franklin making the trip into Bandy's to take on the Trojans. Terry, who you got in that one?
Well, Bandy's comes in here 34 and 23 all-time in playoffs. They got this guy in their backfield named Ethan Howard, 1765 yards, 19 touchdowns. This is Bandy's 24th playoff bid. Last playoff win, and this is what scares me. Last playoff win for Bandy's came in 2012 in the 2AA second round against Newton Con over 49-24. Their playoff record again is 34 and 23, but they are 20 and 4 at home. That's huge. And when you got Franklin coming out of the best conference in America coming to your area, nothing about the Mountain 6 2A conference. But when they're coming over here, I think you're going to get a lot of bandies and a lot of time-consuming drives here. And I'm going to take bandies to win this one 32-20, bandies.
Drop down from the 2AA to the 2A. I think this one might be one of the most intriguing matchups. The 10-7 Maiden making the trip from Catawba County over to Rutherford County to take on the Cavaliers of East Rutherford. Terry, I think there's going to be a lot of offense on display, but who you got in the end in this one?
Yeah, when we come into this, Coach Burns 27 and 8 in 3 years at Maiden. Maiden is 50 and 40 all time in the playoffs, but the big thing for here, they're 17 and 19 in away games. And this is Maiden's 43rd playoff bid, 23rd straight year that they've been to the postseason, and 32 of the last 4. These two teams played in the playoffs in 2011. Maiden come out on top 26-13. What do I think will happen tonight? I think this is a tough place for Maiden to go tonight. Yeah. Maiden's had a good year. A lot of people complaining about it's been a bad year for Maiden. Well, they finished 4th. They went 8-3.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that whole thing got turned around. Everybody predicted Maiden to win this conference.
I think that's the thing. They're more
that's what
they're
it
upset
is.
about
they're upset
the expectations.
But going to East Rutherford with all the speed that East Rutherford's going to have, my deal is how quick can Maiden score against East Rutherford, because East Rutherford's going to put up some points.
They're going to give them up too.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go this. I'm going to go East Rutherford 45, Maiden 31.
Maiden's given up 172 points on the season.
And their defense is supposed to be one of the best.
East Rutherford has scored 485. It's one of the best offenses, so you're going to see a clash there. Terry, what was your score again?
Take your time, Terry. Think about it.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made you. I should have been listening to begin with.
41-24.
East Rutherford?
Yes.
I was going to go 48-20. East Rutherford's got some speed, guys, and even on these 3A teams that they've played, they get a gap. They got some athletes that can go. I got a big win too. I just feel that way about that one. No other reason than I feel that way. Go ahead.
All right, gonna jump back up into the 2AA. This one will be on WLON as number 9 Smoky Mountain will make the trip down to take on the upstart 8 seed North Lincoln Knights. After North Lincoln went on that big tear, they finally lose to Bandy's in the final game of the regular season. They'll get a home playoff game, though. Terry, who you got in that one?
Yeah, they got a home playoff game. They come in 2-6 all time in the playoff. This is the first meeting between these two. They at home for the first time since 2007, and their last playoff appearance was in 2008. Those were all under Coach Matt Beam. Their playoff bid is the 7th. Again, their playoff record is 2-6. Smoky Mountain, out of the toughest conference in North Carolina, coming down to play North Lincoln. I got a feeling you're going to have enough, I think, Coach Bassel will have enough for you, and I'm going to pick North Lincoln to win this and move on. I think it still will be close, though. I got 28-27 North Lincoln.
Ooh, that's a really close. That's not just close, Terry. That's an extra point missed. I've got way more faith in the Knights than you do on this one. I got 36-12 Knights. Couple of reasons for you, and I'll give it to you. This is the South Point effect, Terry. My inside source of North Lincoln says that this team hasn't played the triple option all year.
Well, they have not. That's true.
And they're about to get it from a well-run one. They're about to get it from a well-coached defense of head coach and team. Some of the stats for North Lincoln, this is rushing. Clayton Cribb, 188 carries, 1,119 yards, 11 touchdowns for the Knights. Jake Soros, 94 carries, 950 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So those two lead the way in the rushing. In the passing, let's see if they've got it. They don't have anybody in the top 10 on that one. So look for the triple option, Terry. Also, I do want to say, if anyone sees Mark Ludwig tonight, tomorrow, the next day, thank him. And he'll tell you who else to thank that helped him. But they spent quite an amount of time and hours this week getting the field ready. Folks didn't even think about it, and I got a couple of phone calls today. Folks, hey, we're still playing these games. A lot of these fields got heavily soaked, and they thought they may not even be able to play tonight some of these games. I was told Bandy's maybe even having a helicopter fly in to help them dry off the field, Terry, so you never know.
I thought Fedora was coming in.
No, it's not. They did not hire Larry Fedora. That would be better use of tax dollars if Fedora flew in and dried fields off.
Yeah, dried the field off.
But, yeah, North Lincoln tonight, let's see. This is their fourth season, Terry, with 7 or more wins. Yep. I just think they're going to win tonight, 36-12, going away. I think they're going to have trouble. Where's my list? Smoky Mountain's going to have trouble. Well, the Mustangs are going to have trouble with that triple option. So big time win for North Lincoln. I think they advance. If they do advance, they play the 1 seed, right? Who's the 1 seed in that? Is that Pisgah? They go to Pisgah next week if they win. If Pisgah wins tonight, if East Lincoln beats Pisgah, folks, North Lincoln will be hosting East Lincoln next week.
Lincoln County matchup.
That'd be fun. All right, next game.
All right. Well, actually, we're going to take it to a break. We've only got 4 games left. We've got Kings Mountain, West Rowan, Shelby, West Lincoln, that I'm sure Terry's going to be fun to talk about.
Real quick before the break, that game we're just talking about, North Lincoln, Smoky Mountain, folks. You want to listen to that game tonight, you can listen to the pregame show right now. You go over and switch over. Tim and Ken's already started on WLON 1050 AM, 107.5 FM. North Lincoln and Smoky Mountain Night is on WLON with Tim and Ken. West Lincoln, Shelby is on YouTube only. Go to ktcbroadcasting.com. You can listen to all the games on our website. All right, time to take a break. Man in the window. Eating Max Grill pregame meal tonight, folks. I didn't even talk about mine. I got a chef salad.
We talked about it for you. We said you were the one with the healthy option.
Well, I actually had them for lunch too. So I had the grilled chicken earlier, Carson, for lunch. So I switched it up. So it's so good. I like to eat there for lunch when I drop the orders off. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back in a minute. Finish up the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby would like to remind you that open enrollment for the health insurance marketplace runs now through December the 15th. If you or anyone you know needs help with health insurance coverage options or enrolling into a plan, please ask for an appointment with Justin Witherspoon at Witherspoon Insurance Agency. Just call 704-480-9595 or visit their office located at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby, or email Justin at justinwitherspoon@gmail.com. Gamble's Auto Service at 104 South DeKalb Street at Uptown Shelby is your one-stop service center for repair work on your auto. Locally owned and operated since 1980, they offer light and medium automotive repair on all types of vehicles. Bill Gamble and his friendly staff can do state inspections, minor engine repair work, brakes, air conditioning, and heating service, timing belts, tune-ups, and oil changes, and lubrication. And now Gamble sells new and used tires. Stop by and let Gamble's Auto Service take care of your automotive repairs and servicing. That's Gamble's Auto Service, 104 South DeKalb Street, Uptown Shelby. Call 704-487-5079.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Attention diabetics. Did you know Medical Arts Pharmacy in Shelby has diabetic shoes? Medical Arts has name brand diabetic footwear for men and women in dress and casual styles. Proper fit in footwear is especially important for diabetics, and Medical Arts has trained associates to fit you properly. Cleveland County's largest and most complete selection of home health equipment and supplies is found at Medical Arts Pharmacy, 704-487-8068. Medical Arts Pharmacy, 108 Grover Street near the hospital in Shelby.
Buy from the originator, not the imitator. Before you buy your next set of tires, check around and compare, and you'll find the best prices at Oakey's Tire and Recapping in Shelby. With name brands like Goodyear, Mastercraft, Michelin, Yokohama, Firestone, GT Radial, Dura, and more. Plus, Oakey's has used tires too. And road service is available, and they'll rotate and balance your tires for the lifetime of your tire. Oakey's Tire and Recapping, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby, Cleveland County's hometown dealer for 32 years.
The Ram Power Day sales event is underway at Marburger Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Shelby. Come on in now and get 0% APR financing for 36 months plus $750 bonus cash or up to $9,159 in total value on select new 2018 Ram 3500 limited models. All during Ram Power Days. Going on now at Marburger Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby.
The moment.
It is in the air, and here we go.
You can hear replays of it tonight or tomorrow morning.
Bengals to the right at the 15.
You can relive it in your mind over and over.
20 a stiff arm there.
The moment can last a lifetime.
Far sideline, he's into pit territory.
But the moment really only happens once.
25-20 takes it to the house.
Live in the moment right here on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Powered by Learfield.
People are talking about The Boss.
I love it.
You play great music. The Boss, 101.5 FM, 1390 AM, WOHS, Shelby.
You hear them pads going clack, 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 clack. You hear them clicks going 704 beats by Alex J. Yeah. First and 10.
Talking a little Cherryville football earlier. Bowerman football, former running back there right there, Juwan Wilson, with the our Friday night music there. Friday Night Lights Win. You can look that up on YouTube. Download the music however you want there off YouTube. All right, we got 4 more games left. Let's finish this up.
All right, we're going to start in the 3A. You'll be able to watch and listen to this one on YouTube. We've got West Rowan making the trip down to take on the 5-seeded Kings Mountain Mountaineers, a 12-5 matchup. You always get at least one of these upsets in the NCAA tournament. Terry, you think there's an upset in store tonight in Kings Mountain?
No, this is the first time these two squads have met.
I like to lead him a little bit.
Yeah, Kings Mountain comes in 24-20 and 2 all-time in playoffs. Too many weapons. That's all I'm going to say. Pesau or Mac. I mean, just too much stuff in the offensive line, and defensive line is going to be too strong. I'm going to be easy with this one. Kings Mountain 46, West Rowan 14.
Well, I wrote 14 down for West Rowan, Carson.
Man.
Yeah, we're all over that. I'd have gave him 55, though. Once it gets rolling, it's going to be cold. And if Kings Mountain gets up on a couple touchdowns, Kobe Pay's there is about unstoppable out at wide receiver.
And they got Raquelin Mack. They finally figured out how to use him.
That's what I was about to say. I wouldn't want to tackle Raquelin
in the cold,
in the warm weather. It's cold weather time,
cold,
folks.
And he's
going to be the key to this run. We all know that Raquelin Mack's going to be coming through. They don't have his numbers down here for you. I'd give them to you. But Kalen Wade, quarterback, let me give you some stats on him real quick. Isaiah, he 120 pass completions, 2,500 yards. Okay, that's more than 20 completion, folks. He's averaging more than 20 yards of completion, 2,500 yards, 37 touchdowns of those. Carson, 1 out of every 3 completions is a touchdown.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. 1 out of every 3 completions he's thrown this year is a touchdown. He's thrown 7 picks, 37 touchdowns, 7 picks. NFL numbers, that's MVP numbers in the NFL in 16 games. Kalen Wade, and he could fly. He might be the best quarterback around. They just don't throw it that much for him to have the extremely good numbers because they don't have to because he's completing 30% of his passes are touchdowns. So I've got Kings Mountain winning big tonight. All right, next.
All right, next we're gonna roll over to Shelbytown.
Real quick, back up. Hunter
Yancey.
Yancey, Jason Sane will be doing that game on YouTube, folks. Listen to that on YouTube and KTCBroadcasting.com.
All right, in Shelbytown, the West Lincoln Rebels will make the short trip from Vale down into Cleveland County. Terry, I know this is not the ideal matchup for the Rebels, but real quick, who you got in this one?
Well, this has come down. Shelby 121, 39, and 5 all time in playoffs. West Lincoln 0 and 8. It's like David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what you got here. They've played each other 10 times. Shelby's won all 10, and here's your margin. Shelby's scored 468 points, 46.8 per game, while West Lincoln's only scored 62. 6.2 a game. But this, again, I tell people this is a senior-led team. Look, I'm not going to go out on a limb, but Lance Ware's only played West Lincoln one time, and he did that back in 2011, and he beat them 60-13 in the playoffs. So here's your second chance. West Lincoln guys, I'm going to stick with you. West Lincoln.
Woo!
West Lincoln 35, Shelby 34.
Woo! Terry.
All right, so Terry said Shelby 34. I got him down for 35. So we're on that.
You're absolutely correct.
But I've got the defense. Terry's numbers are absolutely correct. You know, I feel so bad for West Lincoln. I do want to say that. When you have a 9-2 season, you barely lose You barely lose one game by 1 point, and then you lost to the conference champions is the other one. But for the seasons to come out the way they did, Newton Conover kind of got that last year. You know, a lot of times Shelby goes undefeated in their conference. They're going to be a 1 or 2 seed as well. So you've got them back at 4. West Lincoln, you know, when they get bumped up to AA, drops from a 9 to a 13. You just feel like some people don't think a lot of people would say they don't have a chance this year. Terry just picked him to win. People think he's crazy. He's not crazy. I think this is a year that it could happen. A lot of people don't be thinking, oh, we have no chance. You got a chance, but I don't think it's not good for the morale to look at and say, hey, we got to go to Shelby after a good season. I think they think they probably deserve a better seed, not only seed, but a better matchup.
Yeah.
After going 9-2, you should be playing one of these other teams. In fact, some of these teams that you've beat that are even above you, maybe. So Terry's got a point on that. I do feel bad, but I've got Shelby winning 35-26, close game, 11-point game. I think they pull out, or that's 9-point game. Pull out late. Go ahead, Carson. Sorry.
All right, we'll stay in Cleveland County, Boiling Springs, as Stuart Kramer will make the trip from Belmont over to take on those Crest Chargers. Terry, real quick, who you got in that one?
Yeah, this is another one. Crest 68-29 all time. Stuart Kramer 1-2. What is this game? Another rematch from September 28, 2018. What do I think happened in this one? Crest won in 27-7. Crest leads this all-time series 2-0. Crest wins tonight 35-10.
Man in the glass says 48-6.
That's the Shelby score.
That's the Shelby score. Excuse me.
So what did you say, Terry?
35-10.
35-10. Let me say this about the Crest Chargers. They might have the best defense, one of the best defenses around. I don't want to take nothing away from, I think it was, besides Huss, they've got the best defense. But Crest is right up there defensive-wise. They don't turn the ball over. They should win. I think going away as well, Terry, I'm going Crest 36, Kramer 13. So Crest
who's on the call for that one?
That is Tim Foster, Andy Foster, Rob Rupin, and Trey Albright will be out there for that game.
All right,
listen to that on YouTube as well at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Right.
All of our games are on KTCBroadcasting.com, folks.
All right, going to wrap things up now over in South Gastonia right off of Edgewood Road as Burns will make the trip from Lawndale over to take on the Hunter Huss Huskies. 15 seed against the number 2 seed. Terry, who you got?
Hey, September 28, 2018.
There it is. One more time.
These teams played again. Burns 27-19 all time in the playoffs. Hunter Huss 15-25. But you're playing a stout Hunter Huss team, a team I think can go all the way. Hunter Huss leads this all-time series 4-3. What happened here, and then it was 41-0. Tonight I think it'll be a little bit closer. Hunter Huss 38, Burns 14.
I got Huss winning big. I'm not even going to give the score. I'm going to read some stats real quick for this that we didn't get to. Devontae Daly, Shelby 30 receptions, 657 yards, 6 touchdowns. Tony Davis, Hunter Huss 25 receptions, 649 yards. 8 touchdowns. Jahari Mitchell, Shelby, 41 catches, 611 yards, 7 touchdowns as well. Huss, Jaheim Mullen, 26 catches, 539, 9 touchdowns. Passing, Isaiah Best leads with 2,700 yards passing. He's also thrown twice as much as everybody else almost as well. 324 pass attempts. 27 touchdowns, 10 picks. Thomas Jefferson's undefeated. Nami McMullen's 80 for 142, 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, four interceptions. Peyton Kimmerlin, 62 of 119, 1,065 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rushing, Kawan Pryor, folks, 1,900 yards. Check him out. Listen to him again. Listen to him tonight. 187 carries, 1,900 yards, 26 touchdowns. He might be the fastest player in the area. Who did I miss? Brandon Eichert. He's got 1,000 yards, 77 yards, 8 touchdowns for West Lincoln. Young Turner, 1,000 yards for Crest. Fanshook is a Fanshook.
21 yards.
He's 21 yards shy of 1,000 at 979, 4 touchdowns. And Cody Maxwell, Thomas Jefferson, 885 yards. He's 115 yards from 1,000. And we mentioned Highland Tech's guys earlier. So that's that. Real quick, final stats before we get out of here. I got to go real quick. Shelby, 45 years. Maiden's 37. Lincoln 32. Crest 32. South Point 31. Newton Conover 28. Those are how many years? 7 wins or more for those teams throughout the year. Shelby's only 1 year, 1990, went 4-6 because they didn't win 7 games. We'll be back next week for Carson Dockery, Terry Reinhardt. Listen to us on the post-game show tonight, 10 o'clock to midnight. We're going to the ballpark. We'll be back next week on Witherspoon Insurance pregame show.
Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby would like to remind you that open enrollment for the health insurance marketplace runs now through December the 15th. If you or anyone you know needs help with health insurance coverage options or enrolling into a plan, please ask for an appointment with Justin Witherspoon at Witherspoon Insurance Agency. Just call 704-480-9595 or visit their office located at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby, or email Justin